Man, we are in mid-season form. How about that? Welcome to Stillwater, Oklahoma, the home of the tightest sidelines in America and perhaps the tightest press conference and pep rally in America. Give it up for yourselves for being here today. This is a big day and a great day to be us. We do thank you all for being here on this historic day as we hand over the reins to our football program to Coach Morris. You know, life is about relationships, and today, the OSU family, all of us, get to start a relationship with our new head football coach, Coach Eric Morris. And I know we're all excited, so without further ado, I introduce you for the first time to the head coach of the Cowboys, Eric Morris. All right, have a seat, those of you who can. The rest of you get to continue standing, but thank you all for being here on this landmark day for Oklahoma State University. And with that, I want to bring up our fearless leader. He is the 20th president of the Oklahoma State University system. Please welcome Dr. Jim Hess.
A great day to be a Cowboy, isn't it? All right. Thank you, everybody, for taking the opportunity and time to be here. This is an incredible day in the history of OSU football. And I am thrilled, beyond measure, Coach Morris, to welcome you, Maggie, Jack, and George to the Stillwater community and to Oklahoma State University family. Words fail me to describe how excited we are to have you all in the Cowboy family. Now, I want to take the opportunity, if I may, to thank Chad Weiberg for the incredible job you did in helping us land what I believe to be the best coach in college football. Thank you, Chad. And on behalf of everyone here, I want to thank Chad and Coach Morris and our Board of Regents for conducting the most drama-free coaching search I've ever seen. You know, just this semester, OSU Athletics has celebrated a cross-country national championship. Our wrestlers and our basketball players are dominating their fields of endeavor. We're so proud of all of our athletes at OSU. You know, at OSU, we expect our coaches to put student athletes first and to win with integrity. And I knew from the first minute I met Eric that he embodied what it means to be a Cowboy. He put his players first at the University of North Texas. He honored his commitments and coached the Mean Green all the way through the conference championship game. You, sir, are a stellar example of integrity. I honor you. Coach Morris showed us exactly who he was before he ever arrived here by honoring those commitments to his players and his university. He did it because he made a commitment to not just the team, but to their families of those team members. And I want to thank you for that. I want to also especially welcome Coach Morris's most important team. That would be Maggie and their two sons, Jack and George. Would you all please stand up? We want to honor you. Now, Coach Morris, you might not have known it at the time, but you were already living out the Cowboy code before you arrived. You finished what you started, and you always stood up for what's right. And even when there was pain, you did not let pain win. That is who we are at Oklahoma State University. I also want to welcome the new coaches and staff and their families who will be joining Coach Morris here in Stillwater. You know, Stillwater is a very special place, Mayor, and we can't wait for Maggie and George and Jack and Eric to be a part of the wonderful community that you and Brady and the City Council have built here. Thank you to the City of Stillwater. You know, OSU Cowboy football is a proud legacy built over many generations. The stories, the passionate fans who pack our stadium every single Saturday. And I think we've learned it doesn't matter whether we win or lose, we are loyal and true. All of you are loyal and true. Coach Morris, I know that you understand the responsibility that comes with leading a football program. You have demonstrated that already, sir. And I know that you will honor the Cowboy tradition that has been built here. We welcome you and your family to this family because we are a family at Oklahoma State University. And our entire family gathered here today and elsewhere, we can't wait for the next kickoff next fall. I promise you, we will be rowdy, 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 Coach. So Eric, Maggie, Jack, and George, welcome home to Stillwater. Go Pokes!
Now we get to hear from the man who has led the athletic department through several successful coaching hires. Let me just list them off and let me hear what you think about them. Coach J.C. Hoyt, she's right over here. Coach Steve Lutz, right there. Coach David Taylor, yeah. And most recently, the search for our new football coach, Coach Eric Morris. You know, Coach Morris is known as the quarterback whisperer, and we'll probably talk a little bit about that, see if he likes that term or not. I kind of like it. Well, I think maybe Chad Weiberg is the coaching whisperer, the coach whisperer. I got to work on the title, coach whisperer, because he certainly knows how to bring in great talent and great character to Stillwater. So please welcome our head coach in the athletic department, Chad Weiberg. Wow.
Thank you, Larry. First of all, grateful for your leadership, President Hess, Angela, the Board of Regents, Regent Franklin, Regent Poole. Appreciate you being here. I know Chairman Walker is not here, but appreciate all of your leadership as well. We have so many people here, dignitaries. I'm not going to start going into that because I certainly would leave people out, but we've got legislative leaders here, obviously leaders of the campus here, leaders of the community, but appreciate everyone for being here. I think it might be one of my favorite phrases in the English language, which is, I believe we have a sellout. So appreciate everyone being here. As we gather here to mark the beginning of a new era of Cowboy football, I think it's important that we pause for some acknowledgments. I'd like to start by thanking once again Mike Gundy for his 20-plus year run as head coach. He elevated the standard for this program and proved what was possible for OSU football. And as always the case, Coach Gundy didn't do it alone. He was supported along the way by Kristen and his boys, and throughout the years had dedicated support staff and great assistant coaches, many of whom have gone on to successful football coaching careers all over the country. Please join me again in thanking Coach Gundy and all those that have served Cowboy football throughout the past 2 decades. As any coach would tell you, it's the players that play the games. And we are pleased to have many of our former players here with us this afternoon. If you're a former player, please stand, or if you're already standing, please raise your hand so that we can recognize you. Thank you for being here and for all you continue to do to represent Cowboy football and support this program. It is your program. And continuing with players, special thanks to the current players, many of whom I have seen here as well, who just completed the season. They persevered through adversity, finished what they started, and continued to compete. Although the results were not what anyone wanted, they showed a character that made all of us that wear orange and black proud. Thank you. And finally, I would be remiss if I didn't also thank our fans. It's easy to be loyal and true when everything is coming up W's. But in the midst of adversity, you continued to show up, as President Hess said. But not only did you show up, but who knew that loyal and true would manifest itself in the form of Pete's Peelers, the Kool-Aid Man, the Orange Bobs, and of course, Section 2 Shirtless 1. They became a national college football trend and set a Guinness World Record, probably. Thank you for being there and continuing to bring the energy right along with the paddle people, the Spirit Squad, and the Cowboy Marching Band. All I ask is, as the W's come back to Boone Pickens Stadium, and they will, that you keep bringing that energy and that creativity to the traditional Sea of Orange. It was confirmed and reinforced throughout our search process that the reputation of the Oklahoma State football program, and most importantly, your reputation of supporting this program, made this a very attractive opportunity. In the midst of what became a very active cycle, the investments made by Boone Pickens, Sherman Smith, and so many others over the years in the facilities, in the people, and in the program positioned OSU well. As a result, we had tremendous interest in this job. But now the search is over, and we are here today to officially introduce the new leader of our program. And I promise we're getting to that. But please hear me when I say the real work is just beginning. No coach can be successful on his own. It is up to the OSU family, all alumni and fans, to do our part in returning Cowboy football to competing for championships. Through buying tickets, giving to the posse, doing an NIL endorsement deal with a student athlete, whatever it is, We need everyone to do what they can for Cowboy football. Don't wait. Please start today. Because today marks the start of a new era. This has not happened here in over 20 years. And like most things, much has changed in college football in that 20 years. And so for all of those reasons, this was a very important decision for the future of Cowboy football, OSU athletics, and Oklahoma State University. Before we started the search process, we knew the profile we were looking for in the next leader. An accomplished coach with a track record of winning games and building programs. A leader who creates a culture young men want to be part of. A man that you would want your son to play for while learning valuable skills and lessons in the process. A genuine relationship builder with players, former players, donors, and fans. A recruiter familiar with Oklahoma, Texas, and the Big 12. And a fit, which is difficult to define, but more of a gut feeling or instinct. Coach Morris checked every one of those boxes and more. But like the interest we had in our job, Coach Morris also had other interested in him and other opportunities. The magic of the fit was not only did he check all the boxes, which set the bar and made him our choice, but it was clear that Coach Morris wanted to be at Oklahoma State. He wanted to be the next head coach of Cowboy football, and he wanted to raise his family in Stillwater. So we welcome to the family Maggie, Jack, and George. And from Shallow to Stillwater, it is my honor and privilege to welcome to the OSU family the next head coach of the Cowboys, Eric Morris.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to start this thing with the Go Pokes. All right, I'm from Shallow, Texas. It's a town of 2,000 people. And your first question's got to be like, hey, how does he dress like? I'm like, look at this suit my wife put together today. And stuff, right? That's all Maggie. She's my designer. She picked everything out for me today. But, what an honor it is for me today to be standing in front of you as the new head coach at Oklahoma State. I mean, this is truly a dream come true for me, for my family. Thank you to President Hess, Chairman Walker, Athletic Director Weiberg, Reed Seidman, and Cowboy Nation for this opportunity. And before I get started in this too, I'm so forever grateful for my opportunities that I've had up to this point that have shaped me and molded me into the man I am today. So I'd be remiss if I didn't thank Jared Mosley and President Keller at the University of North Texas for their support. The past 3 years in Denton have been incredible. I'm very proud of the program we were able to build there and internally grateful for the opportunity that provided me to ultimately end up like a place I've dreamt about, like Stillwater. I I'm going to do this really fast. Y'all figure out that I talk about family a lot. We talk about relationships a ton. So before I introduce Maggie and Jack and talk about Maggie, Jack, and George, I just want everybody that's a part of my family that traveled with them today to please stand up really fast. I want y'all to see how heavy we're going to travel. So that group of about 20, obviously they've been around the ride on this ride with me, and that ride started at University of Incarnate Word, which nobody really knew where that was. We were able to develop a program there. They spent countless hours in a car driving to all these directional schools in Louisiana just to support me, and it's something I've always felt, and so they've spent so much money on different colors, and like now my brother-in-law said, hey, listen, like I'm going to need a loan to help pay for some of this OSU gear that we're ordering around. And I said, hey, I got you. Now, I'll try not to get emotional. I'm as tough as any person you ever meet, but I get emotional when I talk about this lady. And being a coach is a hard job, and I spend so many hours with other, which I consider kids of mine, right? And there's a special place in heaven for coaches' wives. And my wife is a rock star. And once you guys get to know her and how genuine her heart is, you know, and once you get to be around my family, I mean, we want to embrace ourselves in this community. My kids will be going to Stillwater public schools. It's something we believe in. You know, my father's a public educator. And so we believe in small town people. You know, I've already had people reach out, you know, from the community, from the school system, already trying to help us out and making sure this transition is so seamless for me and my family. But I do just, I mean, my wife, Maggie, you're my rock, you're my everything. You allow me to chase this crazy dream. And Jack and George, I love you boys. Really fast, I want to thank the previous coaches that have poured into my life, my mentors, starting with Mike Leach, and then on to Dana Holgerson, Sonny Dykes, and Lincoln Riley, and Cliff Kingsbury, and Jake Dickert. Just so many great mentors that have taught me so many things that I lean into every day that have allowed me to really learn how to build a program and how to put people first in every which standard I come into. And so I want to thank those guys. And then really, I want to acknowledge my profound appreciation and respect for Coach Gundy and his coaching staff. His 20 years of leadership made Oklahoma State into one of the top football programs in America. So much of what makes Oklahoma State football special, I mean, we talk about the facilities, the brand, the wins, is a direct result of his effort and his success and all of his assistant coaches. Believe me, okay, I've come here, I think, 7 times as a player and a coach. I still have not won a damn game at Boone's Pickens Stadium, and it pisses me off. It haunts me. And so just so much respect for what Coach Gundy built here. And then finally, as a coach, I can tell you nothing happens without players. So I want to thank all Cowboy football players, current, past, and our future players. I mean, this is a thing that they put their blood, sweat, and tears into this program. I'm honored to lead your program. It'll always be your program. You'll always be involved in decisions. Our doors will be always open, practice open, meetings open. We want you guys to come and be a part of us building this thing back into the prominent thing that it can. So all players, former, past, and current, thank you for what you've done for this place. All right, so I remember when I was 11 years old on my birthday, my parents bought me a framed poster that I put in my room of the inaugural season, 1996. The first year of the Big 12. And so I really didn't know a ton about Oklahoma State at that time, besides the obvious of of Barry Sanders winning the Heisman here and watching Sports Center and seeing the successes that they'd had. And so I remember laying in my room and being an undersized guy who eventually, would look up to a guy like Wes Welker and hope to take over of what he was able to do, just a small town kid from Heritage Hall. But I had this dream laying in my bed at 11 as I wanted to really focus and commit myself to ultimately, hopefully, getting a chance to play at that level. It was something that was a dream of mine. I knew it was going to take a lot of hard work, a lot of effort. It took me a whole entire year to talk Mike Leach into give me a scholarship. The persistence paid off, and finally at the end of it, I'll tell everybody the story later. I can't use some of the language right now that Mike used, but finally got a scholarship. That was my opportunity, and I just remember always seeing the Oklahoma State sign up there. And then, as the Big 12 grew and it becomes something I was so familiar with, and watching this program and the caliber of athletes and the wins that you guys were able to accomplish, that we were able to accomplish, all the consecutive bowl games and winning bowl games, just so much history, success, watching what Boone Pickens was able to do here and really transform this stadium. I mean, I was reading an article the other day. They ranked this place the #1 institution and facility for all of college football. Like, how can I not go out and sell that on the road right now? But the Big 12's always been in my blood. It's something that I believe in the people in this area, and really, I've been fortunate, especially here of late, to get in a lot of conversations where there's a lot of opportunities in my life that I've been blessed with over the course of the last year or so. And when I'm approached by any potential job, okay, I always like to start with 2 questions, okay? And the first one is personal, right? Does this align with my values and who I am as a person? And ultimately, is it a place where I want to live? And number 2 is professionally, right? And professionally, for me, it's as simple as this: can we win a championship there? And those are the only 2 questions that I ask myself. And as it relates to personal, there perhaps is not a better place than Stillwater, Oklahoma, for me wanting to raise my family right now. And that is something that was, when Chad and I started talking, it was so important to me to get this small town feel and the culture and all the things that my kids will gain from growing up surrounded by a community like yourself, okay? And then also being able to play primetime football on a national level in the best conference there is in America. This is absolutely the most perfect fit for me and my family we could ever think about. So number 1, big check mark on that. Okay, as it relates to the professional, can we win a championship? Okay, and sorry, Chad, but my answer to that is hell yes, we can win a damn championship around here. And the next question is how, right? For starters, this place has every advantage: unbelievable leadership, top-notch facilities, a passionate fan base, a storied history. We have been top-level support from our boosters, and we play in the best football college in all of America, okay? And my job as a coach is to maximize all those advantages for our program. Okay, we're going to go out and we're going to outwork and out-recruit everyone. We're going to identify the top talent throughout the state and the nation to come to Stillwater and be a part of this program. We're going to play a brand of football that has playmakers all over the field. Okay, we're going to strain. Our toughness and our grit will be our advantage. It starts in the offseason. I told the team last night when I met for them the first time that this is not going to be easy, but we will forge our identity in the cold, dark hours of the off-season when nobody's watching. I don't know if they're excited or nervous after I said that, okay? I'm working to bring one of the top young coaching staffs in the country to Stillwater, coaches that can maximize our talent and can really go out and identify the players we'll be all proud of. Coaches that will develop relationships with the players and their families. I know we're going to get a little Q&A session in a little bit, but I just want to stress so much how proud I am to represent this university, okay, how proud I am to represent this state, okay, because any university south of here, we don't, no, we're not even talking about, right? And I'd love to get on the phone. I'd love to get on the phone with anybody that we know that can help us bring that game back. And if they're asking if Coach Morris welcomes that game, I welcome it with open arms. So with that said, we're going to set up a little Q&A. Go Pokes!
I've been there in Stillwater. The energy from the Cowboys and that fan base is off the charts.
Welcome to Stillwater. This setting is special. The tightest sideline venue in football.
Oklahoma State's incredible. Stunning atmosphere, stunning everything. This is about as good as college football gets.
I'm looking at my 10. That's the equivalent of a chainsaw. All the way clear here. It's mayhem right now at Boone Pickens Stadium.
This environment is for real.
Are you ready for Cowboy football?
Head coach of the Cowboys. How does that sound to you?
Magical. Magical. My 5-year-old, really fast. George, come here real fast. So George is 5. He's taking horse lessons right now. And I told him we got to work really hard because what's the horse's name here?
I don't know. Bullet.
Bullet. And when we score a lot of touchdowns, do we need Bullet to be in shape?
Yes.
You dang right we do. Bullet's got to be in shape. Say hi to everybody.
Hi.
Well, I can tell you right now that the announcer and Bullet are a little out of shape, so we're going to have to work on that moving forward, but that's what we're excited about with your offense. I talked to your parents, your grandmother down here. Your dad told me he knew at a pretty young age that you would be a coach. Did you know that at a young age? He just said you were a natural-born leader. People followed you.
Yeah, I think, and just watching him work, growing up, and I think nowadays, watching him mentor so many people. There were mornings we'd get up and we'd go pick up, other players for practice, and high school coaches never get the credit for how many lives that they affected and kept so many people in Shallwater out of trouble. And so watching his dedication and his effort, and I think you just learn so much by watching your parents, right? There wasn't a morning that he slept in. It was up early and we're going to work. And so I always noticed that from a young age. And then he just worked too hard and didn't make enough money as a high school coach. So I thought, hey, maybe I'll try go into the college sector.
Smart. I get that. Yeah, we don't pay our high school coaches and our teachers enough, do we? There's no doubt about that. So successful coaches have plenty of opportunities, and you had options. So what was it about Cowboy Country and Stillwater that made you think it was home?
Yeah, I think just vertical alignment from my 2 direct reports and having a president that really believed in the vision and athletics and how that's the front porch of this whole entire university. I mean, you need support from the top for this to work, especially how much it's changed the landscape over the course of the last 5 to 10 years. And then, him and Chad Weiberg, I mean, we're 2 guys that I wanted to lock arms with and let's go attack this thing together. And so I was super comfortable with that. I'd just being with Mike Leach at times when we went to Washington State and really understanding the dynamics of vertical alignment with your president, your athletic director. And we didn't get into it very long. And, Maggie and I looked at each other and said, those are people that we want to embrace and go to work with every single day.
And there's a lot of advantages. I mean, I grew up in a small town. You grew up in a small town. Stillwater's still that small town feel. There's a lot of advantages to living in a small town, but raising your kids here.
Yeah, my wife's town, a home of 2,000 people, I think, is what their population. Mine is around 3,000 right now. And I think just the genuine relationships that you build, and for us to be able to embrace ourselves in this community and find a church home in Stillwater and to be able to you're so much more proud of the things that I think that when you do it the hard way. And so I believe in doing things the hard way, the tough, gritty way. I've earned everything I think that I've gotten in life, and I feel like I'm going to relate to everybody in this town and in the state of Oklahoma that are proud alumni.
You talked about it earlier, but Boone Pickens Stadium has become a really special place. Loyal fans that get rowdy and raucous, and they continue to come. And you've been in there several times, said you haven't had any luck, which we kind of like that, but we want you to have a lot of luck in there moving forward, obviously. But what stands out to you about, we talk about the close sidelines, and what stands out to you about that home field advantage over there?
Yeah, I think just the distractions that it creates for the opponents. I mean, I have ringing memories in my ear of those paddles hitting while you're getting
paddle
adjustments.
people.
Yeah, you're getting adjustments for a coach trying to talk, and people are screaming all kinds of things at you. The paddles are hitting. I didn't get to experience all the guys taking their shirts off and spinning them around like a helicopter in the thing. But no, I think. Just how electric the atmosphere is in there, it creates a lot of distraction for the opposing team.
Yeah, no doubt about that. So I think all of our OSU people, and the president mentioned this, have an appreciation for the fact that you wanted to finish the job you started, get through the conference championship. We were all rooting for you to get into the playoff, but that's part of the Cowboy code, like we talked about, and that's another reason we think you'll fit in here so well, because we finished what we started. So why was that so important, and what was that like juggling two jobs there for a little bit?
Yeah, and I don't do great, to be honest with everybody, just having two really important agendas and trying to game plan and still call the plays, while trying to assign a class there with 4 or 5 days. And then, so naturally, I think right now my 100% attention has switched over to the focus of Oklahoma State football, and super important for me to build relationships with our current players right now. And then to go out and hire a great staff. That way we can prepare ourselves for the portal window that's coming up in January. And so it's been nice to finally feel like my feet are on the ground in Stillwater and have one focus, and that's making Oklahoma State football the best it possibly can be.
Well, you learned a lot from Coach Mike Leach, a legendary coach who we all love to listen to his rants and all. I don't know if we'll get rants out of you. That'd be cool, but I hadn't thought about that. But how much did you learn from Coach Leach? And just give us some examples of how much you learned, but then also what you take from him that we will see.
Yeah, I think, Mike was so quirky in front of a microphone, and he's so famous for all the YouTube rants that we remember, his marriage advice, if he likes candy corn or not. I mean, just so many of the weird sound bites that he had.
I love
That's
the
right,
mascot
the mascots, who would win in a fight, right? So I'm not that creative, and I don't think that fast on my feet to come up with some of those crazy things for a press conference. But I think Mike was really militant in the way that he built his program, and the standard was the standard, and he was going to hold everybody in that building accountable. It didn't matter if you were the best player, you're the starting quarterback, or you're the backup punter. Everybody lived to the same standard, and so I think I tried to build our program within those four walls the same way, and the accountability and the discipline and us being able to do things hard together. I mean, we'll bring a lot of that stuff that's a bunch of Mike Leach's philosophy with me.
Love that. So he gave you a nickname. I wonder, not everybody knows the nickname he gave. You want a water? Somebody? Oh, you got one. Okay. All right. He gave you a nickname. I wonder how you felt about that nickname back then, and maybe how you feel about it now. Maybe it's the same. Maybe it's different.
I've almost grown out of the nickname. There's not many people left. There's only 2 or 3 people that still call me the Elf. So it's not always, the most complimentary thing. When
I can tell by the look they're giving me, you're glad I brought it up.
There's the elf right there. Now, I have some great pictures of me in an elf costume. And then, but yeah, Mike gave me the nickname the Elf. And then it was during a team meeting that he gave me the nickname. And that next Thursday, when I went to put on my uniform for practice, my uniform was entirely green. Green tights, green pants, green jersey. He had taped elf ears on the outside of my helmet. I said, Mike, I'm not practicing in this stuff. And Mike said, well, if you want to play this week, you're going to practice.
Oh, my gosh.
So 4 straight weeks, I practiced. Everybody watched me on tape. And everybody has red and black on. There I am running around with green on.
I did not realize it went that deep. I'm sorry I brought this up,
A lot
Coach.
deeper than I would have liked.
Well, that sounds like Mike Leach, though. So, what you talked about it a little bit, but what's your idea of the identity for the Cowboys under your leadership?
Yeah, I think in this day and age with the transfer portal and revenue share and NIL where it's gone, I think some people forget that football's a really tough sport. It's hard to win. It's made for tough people that are big, strong, fast, willing to sacrifice for one another. And so we take great pride in bringing these kids together and spending a lot of time, and the camaraderie that we build in that locker room is a little bit of an old school mentality that we bring. Now, to do that, I think you have to spend a lot of time building relationships on the front end. That way you can coach them really hard on the grass. And so our coaches will be committed on the front end of this thing of building great relationships. And I think you got to build trust with these guys. But at the end of the day, they want to be the best version of themselves. And we want to help them get there. And sometimes that's tough love, even though there's financials that come into play nowadays. And so, I still believe in all the hard-nosed, tough things that was instilled in me a long time ago, starting with my father all the way through all my mentors.
You've heard about the loyal and true, and you see it in here. They're still packed in here. They're still standing. Bend your knees a little bit if you've been standing for a while. We don't want anybody passing out. But what can the loyal and true do for you as we start the Eric Morris era here at Oklahoma State? What can these folks do?
Be visible and allow, me and my staff and our players to get to know you. And we want to learn about the traditions. We want to know what makes this place so special for you guys. And obviously it's special to you because I see the orange and you're here supporting the program. And I think sports have this unique ability to make us feel some way. And I think you have those memories of everybody coming together in a stadium that come from different backgrounds, from different financial, from different socioeconomical things. And it's this common ground where we all come together and we love one thing together. And that's the magic of sports, and no better place than Stillwater. And so I want to know the memories. I don't know why this is special to you. And so when you see me in town, please don't hesitate to come up and introduce yourself and tell me your story. And that allows me to grow in my history knowledge of Stillwater and this program, which I'm reading up at a fast rate right now. But yeah, we want those feelings to come back, of magical feelings in the greatest stadium in the nation. And let's do something special that's never been done together.
Maybe a nickname you like better is the quarterback whisperer. I keep talking because you've had a great run of exceptional quarterbacks, and I just wonder what your thoughts are on that nickname, and why have you been so successful with the quarterback position?
There's been a lot of people that have had a hand in that, and I think I've learned from two really good ones in Mike Leach and Cliff Kingsbury how to identify them and then how to develop them, right? And then two, so many of my coaching staff have done such a good job. I mean, we've had great quarterback coaches, but we really believe in the process, number one, that we have recruiting-wise. And our process is different than everybody else's. Sometimes it's a little bit slower than everybody else's, because all those guys are uniquely talented in their own way, none of them the same. The one thing that sets all those guys apart is their ability to process information really fast and what's going on in between the brains. And so we have a way that we're able to judge that in the recruiting process. And so if I take a 3-star quarterback, nobody get mad at me. Like, that's all I can say, right? we have a set of qualifications and a kind of a formula that we have to recruit in these guys.
Play calling has been important to you. Will that continue here in Stillwater? And maybe talk just a little bit more about your offensive philosophy.
Yeah, it's what I love to do. I mean, that's where I get my passion out on Saturdays, my competitive nature of going out there and feeling like I'm still a part of the game with our players. It's the way I connect with them during the course of the week, obviously. And so, yeah, my plan is to continue to do it. And I think, too, I got a PhD in how to throw the football early on in my career. And the one thing that always aggravated me or upset me is that, we could be the #1 passing offense in the nation 4, 5, 6 years in a row, and we didn't have any hardware championships to show for it. So as I started researching, I knew I needed to commit to running the football. I knew that, teams that can run the football win in December and they win championships. And so when we went to Incarnate Word, we started recruiting tight ends and we started getting really heavy involved in how to run the football effectively. And so we've kind of been able to mesh those together over the course of the last 6 or 7 years and think we have a great formula right now for really successful, efficient offense.
As you met with our former players, I know Blake Jarwin, former Cowboy, former Dallas Cowboy, his ears perked up when you said tight end, and I know Terry Miller, who's in our Ring of Honor,
Yep.
he got fired up about that running attack as well. Talk about the other side of the ball defensively. What will be the mindset?
Yeah, we want an aggressive defense to match up with this offense, and I think the stop rate is so important now from an analytical base. And then two, tackles for losses, turnovers, just ways that we can create havoc on the offenses. I think these offenses have gotten so good, and for us to want to just sit back and wait and play into their hands, I think that's really hard to do these days. So, we'll have to have some really good playmakers on the edge, especially at corner and safety to play the man-to-man coverage. That way we can get a little bit more exotic on the pressures that we're going to do. But I think getting people in third and long situations on third down is key for us, and getting them off the field. Obviously, we at one point we're leading the nations in turnovers gained this year, and so that'll be a huge deal for us is negative plays.
How about your staff? I know it's early. We just got you here yesterday. How's your staff shaping up?
Yeah, really good. I mean, a bunch of guys that I trust that have been with me quite a while, and so hopefully the course of the next 2 or 3 days, my life will be consumed with trying to fill out my staff. And there's so many people now in the recruiting department on that side of it, support staff-wise, so those will hopefully be things I can really work through this week. I've had some time to think about it and have some great visions in my head on the way that's all going to line up for me. And so between that and then really it's finals week for our players right now, and so trying to find time the next couple days to get them into the office to start building a relationship with them will be my most two important objectives.
Well, we talked about we've got we were voted the best football venue in America. That is something you can recruit to. But this has also been voted America's friendliest college town, so you've got that to look forward to. I'm sure Stan Clark will want you to get some Eskimo Joe's cheese fries if you haven't done that yet.
I have not yet, but that's on.
I would definitely put that on the list. So, Coach, we just want to welcome you to your new home. And you can see that the OSU family and everybody's watching online, and everybody is so excited to have you, your family, and your eventual coaching staff in Cowboy country. So thank you so much, and welcome to the family, Coach.
So blessed to be here. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach. Enjoyed that.
Thank you.
Great job.
Yes, sir.